It was my 34th birthday, and I stood frozen in the middle of Seattle's most elegant restaurant. Red cranberry juice slid down my $3,000 cream silk dress. My niece's words sliced through the silence like glass. "Now you look as cheap as you really are." Her smirk was a knife, cutting deeper than the stain spreading across the fabric. My mom patted her hand proudly, while my sister grinned from behind her wine glass. That moment, surrounded by people I loved in a room I'd planned for months, something inside me broke. I smiled to hide the hurt, but a quiet fire started burning in me. One that would change everything. If you're watching this, please hit the like button, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me where you're from, because you won't believe how this story unfolds. I'm Katarina, the dependable one in my family. I grew up in a small town a few hours outside Seattle, the kid who stayed up late studying and dreaming of something more. My sister Claire, 3 years older, was the opposite. Wild, magnetic, always the favorite. When she got pregnant at 20, she stayed behind, moving from job to job, while I moved to Seattle to build a real career. I started from the bottom in marketing and fought my way up to executive director. Late nights, endless weekends, no social life. But it paid off. My apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Puget Sound and my sleek Audi parked below were proof of that. Claire never left that small town. She raised her daughter Freya between evictions and short-term jobs. I never judged. Family is family, right? But somehow I became their safety net. "Kat, the landlord's on my case again. Can you help?" Or "Freya needs dance shoes just this once." Just this once turned into constant calls. I even added Claire to my credit card for emergencies, but soon she was buying spa packages and designer bags. When Freya turned 16, I bought her a small car, reliable, insured under my name, to help her get to school and practice. I said she could use it until graduation, but her look told me she thought it was already hers. Mom never made it easier. Growing up, she cheered louder for Claire's half-hearted piano recitals than my perfect ones. When I got scholarships, she called me lucky. When I landed my dream job, she said, "Don't work too hard, money isn't everything." Meanwhile, Claire's every stumble was met with, "She's trying her best." Even now, when I got promoted, Mom brushed it off, but Claire deciding to take online classes was so brave. I kept waiting for them to finally be proud of me. That hope carried me through years of backhanded compliments, forgotten birthdays, and empty bank accounts. When I turned 34, I decided things would change. No more waiting for their approval. I'd celebrate me, a dinner at the Azure Room, Seattle's top restaurant, in a dress that said, "This is who I am." Maybe surrounded by the life I'd built, they'd finally see me. Looking back, I realized I was still chasing their love like a kid waiting for a gold star. Planning that dinner became my mission. The Azure Room was impossible to book, but I set my alarm to call the moment reservations opened, and I got it. My birthday. My night. Next came the dress. Cream silk, hand-beaded crystals, more than I'd ever spent. When I tried it on, the boutique lights shimmered across the fabric. "Big occasion?" the saleswoman asked. "My birthday," I said. "Your partner must be thrilled," she smiled. I laughed. "No partner. Just me celebrating me," she nodded, smiling softly. "That's even better." Invites went out 6 weeks early. My closest friends, Heidi, my college bestie and nurse, Amara, my quick-witted coworker, and my neighbors Bjorn and Lucas, all said yes. They even offered to help plan. Calling my family was harder. Mom sighed when I mentioned Seattle. "That's a long drive, Katarina." I offered a car service, swallowing the sting. "It's the Azure Room, Mom. It's important to me." "I'll check with Claire," she said flatly. "Freya might have dance. Claire wasn't better." "That place is crazy expensive," she said. "It's my treat," I replied quickly. "For everyone," she huffed. "Freya will need a new outfit. She can't show up in sneakers." I counted to 3. "I'll send money for that." The morning of my birthday, I woke up glowing. Spa day booked, massage, facial, everything. As I sipped coffee overlooking the Seattle skyline, I told myself tonight will be different. My family will finally see me. By evening, I was ready. The dress fit perfectly, my hair fell in soft waves, my makeup flawless. I felt powerful. When I arrived at the Azure Room, the staff greeted me like royalty. "Happy birthday, Miss Bennett," the host smiled, guiding me to a private room where champagne waited in crystal glasses. My friends arrived right on time, arms full of gifts and laughter. Heidi hugged me tight. "You're glowing, Kat." We toasted, laughed, and shared stories as the first course arrived. But by 7:15, my family still hadn't shown up. I checked my phone, pretending not to notice the pit growing in my stomach. "Should we wait?" Amara asked softly. I forced a smile. "No, let's start. They'll come." At 7:45, they finally walked in. My mom wore her usual faded dress. Claire looked annoyed, and Freya, 17, eyes glued to her phone, wore a crop top and miniskirt that clashed with the restaurant's elegance. "Traffic was terrible," my mom said, avoiding my gaze. The servers quickly set their places, but the energy at the table shifted. My friends tried to include them, asking Freya about dance, Claire about her work, but Freya just shrugged without looking up. "She's really talented," my mom chimed in proudly. "Her teacher says she could go pro." Claire nodded. "If only we could afford better training." I saw a chance and took it. "There are great summer programs here in Seattle. I could help her find one." Claire's eyes turned cold. "Not everyone lives in a penthouse, Katerina. Some of us survive on reality." The table went quiet. Bjorn gave me a sympathetic glance, but I shook my head. "Not here." As dinner went on, the gap between us widened. My friends shared stories about my hard work and kindness. My family sat stiffly, tossing little digs like pebbles. When Freya wrinkled her nose at the food, my mom laughed. Like her rudeness was charming. The hope I'd carried all day began to crumble. Still, my friends tried to lift the mood, raising glasses to celebrate my 34 years. Heidi spoke first, her tone warm. "To Katerina, who's been my rock since college, you've got the biggest heart I know." Amara and Bjorn followed, their words wrapping me in pride. Then came my family's turn. My mom barely raised her glass. "Happy birthday, Katerina." Time really flies. Claire's toast was worse, dripping in sarcasm. "To my little sister, always reaching for the stars while we're stuck in the mud." Freya didn't even look up, still texting. Gift time felt like another wound. Heidi and Amara gave me a monogrammed leather planner. Bjorn and Lucas surprised me with a weekend getaway voucher. Each gift thoughtful. Personal. Then came Claire's. A dollar store candle stuffed in a wrinkled bag. Price tag still stuck on. The card just said, "Happy B-Day, sis," with their names scribbled below. "Thanks," I said, voice tight. "It's nice," Claire smirked. "Not all of us can afford luxury, you know." By dessert, my heart was barely holding together. The chef brought out a breathtaking chocolate sculpture. "Happy birthday, Katerina," written in gold leaf. The sparkler lit the table, drawing gasps from nearby guests. For a moment, I felt proud. This was my life. My hard-earned life. Then I caught Freya whispering to Claire, both giggling and glancing at me. My mom leaned in to join. My stomach twisted. "Everything okay?" I asked lightly. "Just fine," Mom said, waving me off. "Freya's just saying how fancy this all is." I turned to Freya, trying to soften things. "I'm glad you came, Freya. I know weeknights are busy with dance." She looked up for the first time, eyes cold. "Yeah, whatever. Must be nice to throw money around like this," Claire laughed, sharp and mean. "Be nice, Freya. It's her big day." But there was no kindness in it. Bjorn tried to steer things back. "So Freya, Katerina says you're into dance. Thought about colleges yet?" Freya rolled her eyes. "Not everyone gets to be college girl. Some of us have to work." I took a breath. "Actually, I've been saving for your college since you were born, a small trust fund. It could cover community college, maybe more with scholarships." Silence. Claire blinked. "A college fund? Since when?" My mom frowned. "You never told us." "I wanted it to be a surprise," I said softly. But instead of gratitude, their faces hardened. Freya's hand clenched around her glass. Claire's voice dropped sharp. "So you've been hiding money while we've been scraping by?" "That's not what I meant," Freya cut me off. "You just love playing the hero." Making us look pathetic. My friends looked horrified. Heidi touched my arm, but I barely felt it. The night I'd planned so carefully was collapsing. "Let's just enjoy dessert," I whispered. "We can talk later." Freya's eyes blazed. "No, let's talk now. I don't want your pity money." She stood, grabbed her cranberry mocktail. "You want to know what I think of your perfect life? Your stupid dress. This whole show." Before I could react, she threw the drink. Cold liquid hit my chest, soaking through the silk. Red streaks spreading like wounds. Now you look as cheap as you really are, she hissed. The restaurant fell silent. My friends gasped. Bjorn started to stand, but I stopped him. My mom reached for Freya's hand. Sweetie, calm down. Claire grabbed her purse. We told you this was too much, Katerina. They left, as if I had ruined the night. I sat there, dripping in cranberry juice and shame, every eye on me. Thank you for coming, I managed, voice barely steady. Then they were gone. The weight of the room crushed me, but I smiled through it. Dabbing the dress with a napkin. Guess the party's over early, I said, trying to laugh. Heidi slid beside me, arm around my shoulders. Katerina, that was awful. I'm so sorry. Amara paid quietly, asking the waiter to pack our desserts. Bjorn and Lucas shielded me as we left. Back home, surrounded by my friends' warmth, I finally broke. The dress was ruined. The night destroyed. But what hurt most wasn't the stain. It was realizing the dream I'd clung to all these years was gone. My family would never see me, never love me for who I truly was. As my friends hugged me, promising they'd always be there, something inside me hardened. For years, I'd been the one paying their bills, taking their insults, chasing their approval. No more. After everyone left, I sat alone in my ruined dress and opened my banking app. Every transaction stared back like a scar. Over $80,000 in emergency help to Claire. Thousands more spent on her credit card. Designer bags, dinners, vacations she couldn't afford. And Freya's car, $30,000 plus insurance, that she called my ride online. Then I opened Instagram. Freya's newest post showed me covered in red juice, the caption reading, "Rich Auntie needed a reality check. Sorry, not sorry." Claire had liked it, adding a laughing emoji. My blood ran cold. I picked up my phone and made 2 calls. First, to my credit card company. Remove Claire Bennett as an authorized user and issue me a new card. Second, to my lawyer friend, Thomas. I need to reclaim a car registered in my name. Each call felt like shedding another heavy weight. Then I saw Freya's videos, secret clips of me opening Claire's cheap gift with captions like, "Auntie pretending for the gram like rich people problems." The comments were cruel. Bet she's got 10 more dresses like that. Serves her right. Claire had liked everyone. By morning, I felt a clarity I hadn't felt in years. I called the credit card company again to confirm Claire's access was gone. I arranged for a towing service to pick up Freya's car from her school. I had all the paperwork. Then I met my financial advisor, Janet. When she totaled it all, my jaw dropped. $115,000 given to Claire in 5 years, not including the car. Without that drain, I could retire early, travel, live. At noon, the towing company called. "Car secured, Miss Bennett." A young woman tried to stop us, but we showed her the papers. I thanked them and added a tip. Then the calls began. Claire furious. "My card's not working. I'm stuck at a drive-thru." Freya sobbing. "Someone stole my car." I stayed calm. The car was mine. "The card is canceled." Then my mom called angry. "Family doesn't do this, Katerina." "I agree," I said. "That's why we need to talk." I invited them to my apartment that afternoon. I laid everything out, bank statements, receipts, screenshots of Freya's posts. When they arrived, Claire looked furious, Freya teary-eyed, my mom acting like the victim. "Sit," I said firmly, pointing to the table. "This is every dollar I've given you, $115,000 in 5 years. Designer clothes, trips, the car. And this," I turned my tablet to show Freya's posts. "This is how you repay me." Claire stammered. "It wasn't that serious." Freya mumbled, "It was just a joke." My mom reached for her hand. "She's just a kid, Katerina." "She's 17, I said, my voice trembling but steady. "Old enough to understand cruelty. And so are you. I've loved you, supported you, and all I've gotten back is disrespect. That ends today." I explained the new rules. No more money, no more car, no more enabling. Claire's face went pale. "Rent's due next week." Freya cried, "How will I get to dance?" My mom begged, "Don't punish them." "These aren't punishments," I said. "They're boundaries. You'll figure it out, like I did." They left silently. The weight of my words hung in the air. For weeks, my phone exploded with messages. Guilt trips, anger, pleas. I replied only to direct questions, refusing to be pulled back into their chaos. The silence that followed was heavy, but freeing. I poured my energy into my own life. I joined a photography class. started dating again, planned a solo trip to Portugal. Without their constant drama, I felt lighter, free. 2 months later, Freya texted, "Got a job at the mall. Saving for a car. Not asking for anything, just FYI." It was small, but it meant everything. I replied, "Proud of you." "That's huge." Claire took longer. My mom said she was angry at first, then sad, until she got a job as an office manager and moved into a smaller apartment. 4 months later, Claire messaged, "Thanks for the wake-up call." I needed it. My mom was the hardest to reach. Our weekly calls were awkward at first, her praising Claire's struggles over my wins, but I gently redirected her. Over time, she started asking about my life, my work, my hobbies, with real interest. By summer, we began having simple monthly dinners at her house. No luxury restaurants, just home-cooked meals and honest conversations. Freya, now balancing work and college plans, had changed. One evening, she pulled me aside in the backyard. "I'm sorry for what I did on your birthday," she said softly. I was jealous. "I thought your life was easy." "Now I see it wasn't," I smiled. "It never was. But I'm proud of you for realizing that," she hesitated. "The college fund, does it still exist?" "It always did," I said. "It's for your education, and only that." Claire's growth hit me hardest. Over lunch, she admitted, "I hated you for having everything together. I told myself you were just lucky, not hardworking." I was wrong. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Even Mom changed. One night, she took my hand and said quietly, "I failed you, Katerina. I leaned on you too much. I praised Claire's struggles more than your strength. I'm sorry." Those words, simple but raw, healed something deep inside me. When my 35th birthday arrived, I almost skipped celebrating. The memory of last year still stung, but Heidi insisted, "Don't let them take that from you." So I hosted a small dinner at my mom's house. Family, friends, home-cooked food. Freya gave me a handmade card full of love. Claire brought a scarf she'd saved up for. My mom made my favorite dishes and toasted, tears in her eyes. To Katerina, who taught us what family really means, "I'm so proud of you." Everyone cheered and warmth filled the room. As we cleared the table, Freya handed me an envelope. "For my job," she said shyly. Inside were $150 in crisp bills. "It's not much, but I wanted to show I get it now." I hugged her, eyes wet. "It's everything, Freya." Driving home, I thought about the past year. How saying no had been the hardest and best decision of my life. We weren't perfect, but we were rebuilding, learning to love each other with respect. If you've ever had to set boundaries with family, I'd love to hear your story in the comments. How did you do it? What changed? Thank you for watching my story. If it touched you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Here's to finding strength in hard choices and building better relationships from the ground up.